Hello and welcome to Stay Positive with David and Donna. I'm Donna.
I'm David.
And we are coming to you from my home. We are sitting next to each other. We're so excited that quarantine has lifted enough for us to be together. Because,
sort of.
Well, I mean, we can sit next to each other now. I'll
Right,
tell
I
you,
agree.
the recording over Skype, when I listen back to those, we just talked over each other so much.
Right, because there's just that ever so slight bit of lag coming from one side to the other, and it makes it difficult to schedule. Like, you might think it's so easy, but it's not. Because, you know, when I'm coming over to Donna's, there's like an office we can go to and be alone. In my house, I'm never alone. So it was just kind of, it was just rocky, but
Well, we managed to get a few in.
We did manage to get a few in.
Yeah, so at least we did that.
But now we're here, you know, we've both taken precautions, you know. Like I said in our creative conversations we just filmed, we're not like those teens who are like, you know, partying in the middle of a pandemic. I'm just, you know, we have taken precautions, but now we're at a point where I think it's okay if the two of us sit next to each other.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter's boyfriend has been over, and you know, we've gone to our friends' houses, but it's just been very sparing. So it's just now I'm sure David probably could have come over a few times during the whole crazy, but we both. But
I was just being as
we both were
distant as possible. I was saying that it's great that I haven't had to put gas in my car for a month.
I'm saying
because I don't go anywhere.
Right. And they even have dropped car insurance. Did your car insurance drop a little bit? Several different car insurances have given a little break because we're not out on the road.
Yeah,
you know.
and what are we doing? Yes.
So nice for that. And you also said that there was something quarantine related. Oh, PayPal was not charging us our $25 transaction fees.
Or like 25 cents or whatever.
Yeah, 25
so something like, or 25 per person or something like that.
Or whatever it was, but still.
Or maybe it's even smaller than that. Maybe they charge like I don't know. It's a very
They're just
small
not
amount.
charging us for transactions.
They're not charging us for a transaction fee.
We'll say that.
Which is nice because we actually have money to transfer to our account, which is a nice feeling.
Well, that's a positive.
That is a very positive thing.
You've been more involved with that, so tell our listeners the things that we've been doing to make money.
Oh, well, one of the big things that we do and what we want to do is write for people and make more things. So we have a Fiverr that you can check out. The link is in the description, always in every video. Let us write for you for a very fair and cheap price. We probably need to bump that up now that I'm thinking about it, but that'll come later. We will write for you. We've written TV scripts, outlines for things. We go through stuff and we tidy it up. We right now we're in the process of writing a children's play, a very short children's play for a customer. Right. And so we've been doing a lot of that kind of stuff, and I actually really enjoy doing it for the most part because it does feel very productive, and like we're making all of these things, and it's just all this like product almost, you know, like we just have all this, like that's how I feel about making videos and all this stuff. And I've been thinking a lot about how to actually make the business be a business with money, and I'm pretty happy with things for the most part.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's coming up on a year that David and I started our business. We just got our first, letter reminding us that we have to do our annual report, which is new to us. So it's amazing to think that we've been doing this for a whole year. So we're on Stay Positive number...
this is 16.
16, and Stay Creative number 36. So in a year, that's not bad, you know?
Not bad at all.
We still have another month to go, actually. So, or two. Did we do June or July?
It was July.
July. So, yeah. So in that time, we'll even do more. And just one of the things I always try to do is look back on what we have accomplished, because it's so easy to get bogged down and, man, we have so much to do and hadn't done this and I meant to. And that's especially true of me during this quarantine time. I swear. Last week was just, I can't say I was completely unproductive, but I just have all this. I want to do this, I want to look at this, I want to work on that. And sometimes I just go sit out in my yard and look at the birds, which is a very healthy thing to do, just to be outside in nature. Or the other thing, of course, all of us are doing is sitting in front of Netflix. And I have done that more. I haven't felt motivation to do anything. And just like everybody else, you always wish you had more time, and the great irony is that here we have all this time, but then you lack motivation. It's a really two-edged sword, and I think it's hard for all of us to work through that. But I think the main thing I keep telling myself is, it's okay. That's okay. You know, not to beat myself up about it. Like if I didn't work on my novel at all last week, that's okay. I will get to it. I know it's something I'm going to do. I'm working on it. And I could maybe try to set more of a schedule, but I'm okay. Just for me, last year would have been the last week of school. And I think kind of in retrospect, that was a really depressing time for me because school ended and none of us got to say goodbye. And then knowing that I would have been, in my classroom cleaning up at like a normal school year. And then it was just happening and just so much got pulled out from under so many people and just kind of mourning it, the things that it's done now. It's like completely in the past. It ended in a horrible way, but so much good has come in other directions, so I can't complain that much. It's my circular routine of my whole annual, what I've done for the last 31 years was greatly disrupted. And I think just saying it aloud, I'm realizing that probably hit me harder than I realized,
Mm-hmm. I figured it would, and I'm sorry. You actually pointed out to me earlier that I've now been out of high school for 2 years, and I've yet to find, I feel like you're still on routines, I don't have a routine, and sometimes that I beat myself up about it because I'm like, I need a routine, I need a big job, big money, get house soon,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm 19.
Yeah.
Like I can calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
And not having a routine and feeling free, freedom can be very scary,
Mm-hmm.
but also very freeing once you breathe for a second, and it's like you're floating in space. That's what I feel like all the time. Like I'm floating in space, and at first it's kind of terrifying, but then I learn how to swim, and I'm like, oh, I can go this way or I can go that way, and eventually I'll make it to Earth. So that's sort of where I'm at right now, not having that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, I do feel for you. My girlfriend was part of your theater class.
Mm-hmm.
What a interesting dynamic our lives have, huh? That you were my teacher, and now my girlfriend is still in your class.
Yeah.
My 18-year-old girlfriend, to clarify. And she was graduating this year, and she didn't get to have all that. So I've been right next to all that.
Right.
We talk fairly often, but of course I talk to her more. So like every day I was right next to those hardships, and I have a friend who was still in high school graduating of those it does suck. It sucks for a lot. My sister was literally graduating, and she didn't get to do all that stuff, and it sucks. It does suck for them a lot. And this is the same group of students who had to go through the 2016 flood and have their whole thing screwed up. And
well, I mean, you went through that too, but you just didn't also have the.
But I didn't also have
right,
this. Yeah.
Right. It's a lot, and this was the group they've brought out too that was born right after the attacks, the 9/11 attacks. So they've had quite a role. An interesting group of people.
Yeah.
But our school system will have some form of graduation late in June, so at least they have decided to do that. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, we're having graduation June 26th. It's going to be on the football field, and each person gets 4 tickets. So it's already started the who has extra ticket, thing online, and it'll be very, very interesting to see.
That is interesting. I didn't even think about the idea that
they have to limit. That's why
I didn't think about the idea that one kid might only need 2 tickets, and then so he's 2 tickets you can sell, blah blah blah. That's gonna be crazy, because I know my mom has panic attacks about that kind of stuff and making sure that everybody has. And we have a huge family. The entirety of Natchez, Mississippi comes to this kind of crap for us. So.
Well, they are going to broadcast it, so that'll help. But
interesting.
Yeah, that's just how we're working on that now. But I went to school today. It was my checkout meeting, so now I'm officially out of school today. They decided to meet with each teacher individually just because of the insanity of not seeing each other for the end of the year and whatever, and turning in my last things and just kind of talking about next year. And that's just such a huge question mark. There's no way that anybody can know what is it going to be like. Are we going to actually go back physically to school? That depends on what happens with the pandemic. You can't really plan anything.
I've heard a lot of different stuff, and
I
don't know if I'm gonna talk about it because I don't know if I'm allowed to or supposed to say it. And I didn't hear it from you actually. I heard I don't even remember where I heard it from. I heard it from somewhere else, but I've heard a lot of different plans and things.
Well, the problem is that we all have to have a lot of plans, and one plan that is in place for sure.
And it's all crazy.
Is that every teacher has got to be prepared to teach remotely. Every teacher, every subject, and
which I think is super interesting because I do believe that eventually that was probably going to come. It was probably going to get in a long time. I was thinking like years from now, it was going to get to a point where like pretty much half of school. I don't think the in-person element should ever be taken out of teaching. I think that would be detrimental to what even the point of school is. I think I've learned like the point of school is to learn things, yes, but also like learn how like to live in life and deal with people. That's being in high school. That's the most important thing I learned. Not how to do the pi theorem, the Pythagorean theorem or whatever. You know, it's how to actually deal with people. So that should never be taken out. But I always did assume that it was going to get to a point where more of it would be online. And I think it's crazy how this has sped that up entirely. This is a little bit of a creative conversation topic kind of thing, but like there's a lot of stuff. It's so like entertainment was obviously all going towards streaming, right? But there were still movie theaters and it was still a big deal. People still went to movies. Did you still go to movies? Like
Absolutely.
People went to movies.
Yes.
But because of this pandemic, what probably would have taken another 15 years
I agree with that.
has now moved over. All these different movies are like going straight to streaming. AMC probably isn't going to allow Universal movies in their theater anymore because a lot of the Universal are releasing a lot of their movies on digital and DVD right now. And AMC sees that as like, well, you could have waited for us to open back up and then we would have made the money. And AMC is probably going to close because they're not making money and Amazon's probably going to buy them. And then movie theaters are going to become this really weird and different thing. I saw stuff like the idea that movie theaters are going to become like Apple stores where you just go in there and there's a screen in front of you and you put on headphones and watch the movie. Movie theaters are going to become obsolete probably because, you know, streaming and all that stuff. That's where everything's going. That's where all the money's at apparently.
Well, I will just interject that people have said that about books now for probably the last 50 years. Books are going strong. Now, newspapers are hurting, but books are not hurting.
You're right.
Not to the degree that they're going to become obsolete. So I feel like going to the movie is still an experience people want to have because it's something to do.
But I feel like it's going to become a thing where it's one of those like, okay, so you know how comic books are now, where comic books used to be everybody read comic books, but and then now it's kind of this really niche thing. Like, oh, you're a comic book fan. I feel like movie theaters are going to become that similar thing where it's going to be like, oh, you're a movie theater goer? Like, it's going to become this, like, hobby almost, where it's like, you know, people are going to movie theaters. Okay, all the comics you can buy at a store, you can buy digitally. And it's easier and simpler, but people still go to comic book stores. I think movies are going to, I think that's exactly what movies are going to be like, is moving into that. Now, books are interesting because you're right. Books have never faltered. Books are still, like books are never ever faltered from that top tier like of entertainment, and that's super interesting how they've something about them, even though books are digital and streaming, something about books is so special to so many people that it's never gonna die.
Well, we are a storytelling culture across all cultures are storytellers, and so I think that the book is just kind of the ultimate storyteller.
It is the ultimate like simple like words on a page, here you go. The ultimate way to tell a story. I agree. And it's interesting how that like while things like comic books or movies seem to change and falter and go everywhere, books are staying strong.
I mean, you watch Captain Picard and Captain Janeway reading their books on the futuristic version. I just think that's great. Right.
But then there's also scenes of them just actually reading a book.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Oh, I thought you were saying like on like a futuristic screen. Like no.
Like, they're sitting there holding and reading an actual turning pages. That's what I'm saying. They show that in that future or that version of the future. So
I don't like. I mean, I don't read a whole lot of... I've read novels. I have read a lot of fantasy stuff, especially. But I do not enjoy reading things digitally.
I don't either.
Really don't. Like Kindles or whatever. No offense. I'm like, especially comic books. Like, no. No. I need to hold my comic book in my hand, sir. Right. I do not buy digital comic books. And I never... No offense. Like, it's great. If you want to buy them, buy them. Like... I am happy they exist because it lets comic books get to more people. But you will never see me reading a digital copy of Batman. Right. That ain't it. That ain't it, Chief. What, someone like scanned it on? No, no, thank you. I want to hold it in my hand and I want to put it up in a box and let it take up 3 giant boxes in my attic. Yeah. That honestly, What?
Let the moths come eat it up.
Yeah, let them. No, I got them in like. I bought specialty protective cases. If you think that I don't have those comic books safe, like, say from heat damage and everything. Like, no, man.
All right.
I'm careful.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Right.
Well, I have a topic to bring up that I would like for you to actually show them. So if you're listening and watching, David's going to try to put pictures up. But my daughter likes to paint. She's in talented art at school, and she does some of her work at home because we have some paint and canvases and whatever. So she painted a pineapple at school, and we hung it up in the kitchen. And then we looked around the house, and I thought, well, I would love a picture right there. And I love peacocks, so she started making me a peacock painting. But I thought, I've always been artistic. I like visual art. I've more than other things, I like to color, literally, like with crayons in a coloring book, or I've had nice color pencils that I color in a coloring book. But in my younger teenager days, I did some, like, get a piece of paper and just fill it up with random design kind of art. And I thought I would like to paint. So I sat down and started painting. And it's just the coolest thing, because the very first thing I did was a canvas. We've been painting over a lot of artwork that my students have turned in for different things, and they've sat in my cabinet for 3 years. So I thought, well, let's use these. And we paint over the background, paint over to make a solid background. And so the first thing I did was very arts and crafts looking. I kind of did some dots and some little flowery looking designs, just kind of to fill up the page. And my daughter just kind of wrinkled her nose up at it. And when I looked at it, I thought, well, yeah, okay, that's kind of simplistic, It was just me playing with the paint, because I really haven't painted that much. So then I started getting the paint and just swirling around. I just swirled it over and through all the things I had already done. And then when I looked at it, I thought I saw something that looked like a peacock, because I'm a peacock woman. So it turned out that I outlined part of the swirls with a white outline, and even though peacocks don't have the kind of wings my peacock does in this painting, it's just kind of very imaginative, modern art kind of take on a peacock. And it's just something I really like, the way the colors blend, and I can see all the different layers I did. And I even have some of the dots I made underneath some of the other stuff, which gives it texture, and I really like that. So then I just started kind of looking at other art, and I found some of these big swirly designs where the colors kind of overlap. And it's really difficult for me to figure out how to overlap colors with acrylic, because when you paint, you kind of paint over things, and I've been playing with that idea. But I've come up with some really swirly things, and then I saw one that was just kind of brush strokes. I like a really loose brush so you can really see the individual brush strokes. And I have one that kind of looks almost to me like two fireworks intersecting, just a lot of different colors. And then I started one in the center and just swirled it out, and that looks like one big firework, I guess. It's the biggest one I've done. The paintings are all tiny. They're like 8 by 10 or 11 by 14. But one thing that I actually was trying to do at the beginning was paint something, like my daughter does. So I drew a very rudimentary dragonfly on a very green background. And the more I looked at it, the more I'm like, what am I going to do with this? So I covered up my dragonfly. And then I got red paint and just painted designs over the green. And I just loved the way it turned out. And my another thing I wanted to do is like put more paint on the canvas. So I just put some paint on the canvas and just stretched it out with brush strokes. And I came back to that one probably 6 times and just added some more stuff until it finally came out just like really bright colors overlapping in really cool ways, in my opinion. And then the last one I did was another kind of attempt at some transparency and seeing the underlayers. And I kept adding to it and adding to it and adding to it to the point that it just looked like a big mush. And then I thought, well, it needs segmentation. So I got some white paint and I segmented it out. And when I look at it now, I'm like, wow, that is so cool, because I like the pattern of the segments, and I like each individual segment has so much detail in it. So it's just kind of opened up in me this whole idea of, wow, I can get some paint. And, another way for me to stay creative. And, the whole Instagram craze of putting your paintings up and letting people buy them for lots of money, I'm kind of considering that. You
should. So if you want to give us money for Donna's painting, send us an email.
Yes.
Always in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Check that out, definitely. That would be, I think you definitely should do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what we do. Like, we want to create things and then sell them to people. That's kind of the whole point. And make a business. You're right. My stepdad's been building a lot of wood stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of jealous because he is like, every day he's like, oh man, I gotta go build 3 new cabinets. Got 3 new orders. Like, oh, that's cool. Good for you. Wish we got 3 new Fiverr orders every day.
Well, we're working on it.
Hey!
Don't wish it. See it like it already exists.
See it like it already exists. Okay, I see $1 million right in front of me.
Mm-hmm. It's there, David. You just got to go for it.
I know.
We're a slow build, and I think that unfortunately that might be because that's how I see it in my brain. But I still have 3, 4, 5, possibly more years to teach, and I see this as what I go to when I leave teaching.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit of a plan together.
Yes.
I'm getting a bit of a plan together for life. Don't worry.
We're here, and we're not going anywhere. We made it through the pandemic.
All of my viewers who I know are caring about me so deeply and are worried about me, I know that you just crying every night, making sure I'm okay. Don't worry.
That's right. There's no reason to ever worry. Just send us your positive vibes. And having said that, we're at the end, I think, of our time. Yeah. Like to keep these nice and short. So please like and subscribe and give us any ideas you have about future things you'd like for us to talk about. It's so much easier to do this when we can talk to each other. It's just so much better. So I'm very positive and very happy that we've been able to do this. So thank you for listening. This has been Donna.
And David.
Stay positive.